With that, our MC faces off against the enormous white furred creature, which roars with fury. The girl then promises him a cup of hot tea if he can hold out for 30 seconds. With a determined expression, our MC braces for battle, gripping his weapon tightly. A massive monster roars right in our main character's face. In that moment, the creature lunges forward with its razor-sharp claws. But our hero doesn't flinch and manages to dodge the beast's powerful strike. He then grits his teeth, feeling the force of the impact as a small cut appears on his face. The creature is gigantic and gears up for another attack against the hero. The beast charges again with incredible speed. The MC then uses his arms to block the white monster's crushing blow. Suddenly, a blue energy surges from him as the girls watch the fight from a distance. Meanwhile, the friend asks his sister if she's still salty about him absorbing the pearl. His sister replies that she's worried because the hero only has 9-star slots. Her friend understands the desire to fill those slots with rare skills, but you have to consider the cost. She continues, explaining that for a good while, the most common enemies will be the white phantoms. And just like the two of them, the MC needs to accept this new star ability in order to fight. A system window then pops up, showing the details of the new technique called Blue Flash. With that, our hero uses his newly acquired skill against the monster. The push from his ability also shoves him back a bit, but he plants his feet firmly on the ground. He remembers absorbing a star pearl from the white phantom earlier that day, while holding another pearl hidden from the monster in his hand. At that, he decides to check the requirements to upgrade his new skills in the system. Panel explains that the techniques are enhanced with points and other star pearls. He then sees that he still has 2 skill points left to use. The hero starts analyzing his options to get stronger as fast as possible. He recalls that in this world, skills are fixed, but his can evolve infinitely. A screen displays his techniques, including the recently acquired Blue Flash and Resistance. The MC calculates that to get from bronze to silver, he needs 10 bronze pearls. Determined to boost his strength, he decides to absorb the pearl's power without hesitation. Then a message confirms the pearl has been absorbed, and his star power has increased. His Blue Flash and Resistance skills have reached the maximum level for the bronze class. With that, both techniques evolve from bronze to silver, massively increasing his power. Back in the battle, the creature roars down at the protagonist. The creature once again lunges with its claws at the hero. Star chart glows intensely behind him. With his eyes glowing blue, the protagonist focuses completely on the battle. His sister then screams, asking if he's lost his mind, and tells him to get out of the monster's way. But the hero just clenches his fist tightly, showing his determination. He charges forward, surrounded by a bluish aura, and strikes the creature with all his might. The protagonist's gaze is locked on the enemy as his energy cuts through the snow. With a powerful blow sends the monster flying, leaving a trail of destruction. Down in the snow, the beast still looks dangerous and glares at the protagonist. Suddenly, one of the girls throws her flaming sword to finish off the creature. Her fire attack comes down with devastating force towards the monster. The creature is finally defeated and collapses, powerless, in the snow. His sister yells his name from a distance, worried. His sister then demands to see the boy's star chart immediately, looking very suspicious. He shows his chart, which now has 2 bright stars lit up in its center. With a smile, he says he can trust the girls and decides to let them in on his secret. He says he knows his power is shocking, but he trusts them, because they're on the same side. His friend looks a bit guilty at the revelation and looks away without saying a word. His sister, however, stares at him with a serious expression, seemingly processing the information. To everyone's surprise, she apologizes to our hero with a sad look in her eyes. And she says she also hid something very important from him. The protagonist is completely lost by his sister's sudden apology. She then reveals that the Void Breaker ability was originally left for him by their parents. The hero asks if that's the power that swallows monsters and says she doesn't need to apologize. Furthermore, he states that her talent is much greater, and that he probably couldn't have even absorbed the technique. His sister remarks that in the last 2 days, the boy has absorbed 2 very powerful star pearls. With a sad look, she insists that because it's a gold quality skill, he would have been able to absorb it. The protagonist thinks, she looks so mature, but she's even more conflicted than I was before I was reincarnated. He finishes by saying she's giving him way too much credit. His sister has a surprised expression upon hearing the hero's modest words. The hero then explains that the level of star power limits the quality of skills one can absorb. Secondly, he says that even if he could get the power, he wouldn't be able to use it. The protagonist reveals he's at the lowest rank and that using Blue Flash already drained half of his energy. Because of that, if he used Voidbreaker, he'd be powerless, and it would be a total waste. The 2 girls listen to his explanation very carefully and seem to understand his point of view. He understands that the original owner of the body was weak, so she had to become strong to protect him. His sister gets very emotional at the protagonist's understanding and calls his name, her eyes filled with tears. He then starts to brag, saying he's clearly the only brain in the operation, as the girls call him an idiot. Suddenly, his friend grabs him by the collar. She praises him for growing up and asks if the improvement of his star skills has any limits. The protagonist replies that he improves with pearls and training and that he hasn't felt a limit yet, just a lack of power. The girl then realizes that both the skills and the star power need to be trained together. She sighs as she wanted to use her money to directly level up his skills. However, the young woman looks at him with a serious gaze, appearing to have something important to say. His friend warns him that his talent can't be exposed and that at school, he'll need a squad. The protagonist listens intently to the advice and then suggests joining her squad directly. The sudden proposal leaves the two girls completely shocked and at a loss for words. He's confused by their reaction and wonders what he said wrong to make them like this. The two continue to stare at each other in silence, processing the hero's idea of joining them. Suddenly, his friend has an epiphany and says she had forgotten about one possibility. Later that night, the group prepares to camp in the snow under the starry sky. Holding a warm cup, the young woman says that, just as she mentioned before, his talent is a problem. Around the campfire, the friend explains that with his talent, the hero is destined for greatness. The hero and his sister listen intently to the explanation. The young woman then proposes that the protagonists skip straight to the final year and join their squad. Our hero is completely shocked by the unexpected proposal he just heard. She explains that this way, they can train him at the university, and with him on the team, missions would be safer. The girl guarantees that with their skills, protecting him until graduation won't be a problem. As for the high-quality skill, they can just say it was left to him by his parents. His sister agrees and suggests that they first raise the quality of the blessing skill to the silver level. His wealthy friend says she'll spend 2 million on star pearls to guarantee his technique gets upgraded. The protagonist wonders excitedly if it's possible for him to join the team and if the decision is already made. With a smile on his face, he celebrates that from that day on, he'll be an official member of the squad. But his celebration is cut short when his friend says things aren't that simple. She then reveals the big problem with that plan, saying that their squad is already full. The protagonist is completely stunned by the news and can't understand. The hero yells in disbelief, "Are you kidding me? After all that, your team is already full." The friend then explains that there's a guy on the team who's always chasing after his sister, named Zhao Junwei. The protagonist is totally lost with this new information and doesn't understand a thing that's going on. She describes the guy as having a garbage personality, selfish and super arrogant. During a mission in another dimension, this guy almost caused one of his teammates to lose their life. She explains that both of them had powerful families, and because of their pride, neither of them would back down. In the end, she and the hero's sister were the victims of the conflict, and the team basically fell apart. The young woman says his strength will improve their team composition a bit more. Since he's a rare healer, he'd be qualified to replace one of the problematic members. With a carefree air, the girl reveals that she originally planned to leave the team with Juexu. But the cost of leaving was high, as it would be hard to find 2 other strong teammates at the school. As the snow falls gently, the group's serious conversation continues around the warm campfire. The young woman explains that the team has been training together for 2 years, and with exams coming up, nobody wants to change things. She then makes it clear she's talking about high-level people, not average teams. The friend says that with her and Xuexu being so strong, many weaker players would want to join them. The young woman explains that if they left, they'd have to endure the wrath of their families and the school because of the rankings. His sister confesses that she's been blocking him for a year now and doesn't know how much longer she can keep it up. Firmly, she says that no matter the reason, they can no longer work with that guy. That's why she kept the team together, so the protagonist could make a surprise debut and give the rival the boot. The hero listens to the plan, and his expression turns serious as he understands the huge opportunity that has just appeared. She assures him that she'll handle everything at the school so he can skip straight to the final year without any problems. The flames of the campfire continue to burn as a very important decision is made by the group. The 2 siblings sit in silence, thinking about the proposal, while their friend waits patiently for their answer. The expression on the hero's sister shows that she's quite worried about the pressure he's feeling. She then stands up and tells the protagonist that it's okay and he doesn't need to feel pressured. The friend agrees, commenting that he has just matured a bit and they don't need to rush things. But the protagonist says he wants to try, not just for them, but to survive in this world. His sister is completely surprised by the hero's determination and maturity. With conviction, he affirms that he's going to do it and that he definitely wants to join their squad. Extremely moved by her brother's attitude, the girl says his name, her chest swelling with pride. 7 days pass, and the place remains covered in snow. On the ground, we see another snow creature. The creature is wounded, and its red lifeblood stains the white snow. Our hero stands over the beast as a system notification pops up, saying his dagger mastery has increased. With a confident smile, he celebrates that he finally managed to take down a white phantom on his own and leveled up. Nearby, his friend watches him closely, looking impressed with the hero's progress. Shivering from the cold, the girl compliments him and jokingly asks him to use his star power to warm her up a little. The hero gets a bit flustered and replies that his skill is for healing, not heating like she thinks. Even so, he uses his blessing on her, and the girl is enveloped in a warm, golden aura. With an expression of pure bliss, she says the sensation is very comfortable and seems to be enjoying it a lot. Meanwhile, the protagonist and his sister stand side by side with a look of disbelief on their faces. His sister then announces that there's 1 week left before school starts, and they need to leave the area. The hero gives a salute and replies that he got the message, ready for whatever's coming. Suddenly, a giant blue energy blast cuts through the air at high speed. The strike hits the ground right near them, causing a huge impact and catching them by surprise. With wide eyes, his sister questions what that thing is that just appeared in the sky. She then yells that it's a flare from someone asking for help and warns everyone to stay alert. The protagonist, with a serious look, asks if they should go check out what's happening. But his sister stops him and explains that the signal was fired for the area's guardian team. With a serious look, she says the signal is a warning that the area is dangerous, and they should leave. Meanwhile, a group of explorers runs desperately from a horde of giant white monsters. One of the guys is running in a panic, carrying something in his arms. The older sister yells for everyone to hide because danger is heading straight for them. Just then, one of the explorers tells his captain they can't shake the creatures. Another member of the group starts panicking, saying they're all going to be goners before the guardians even show up. Their leader is clearly stressed out by the whole situation. He preps a fire skill, a small sphere of energy forming on his finger. The captain unleashes an explosive flame, but the target was one of his own teammates. The guy hit by the fire is in total shock, calling out to his leader, completely confused. But the captain just smirks and says he'll report that he died heroically on the battlefield. Now the poor guy is left behind, surrounded by the horde of furious white monsters. The abandoned explorer screams in despair as he sees his terrible fate closing in. He reaches out his hand, watching his former partners run away, leaving him to perish. The enormous white, furred creatures close in on the young man. Meanwhile, our main character's group is watching everything from a distance, hidden behind a rock. Our MC is shocked by the sheer number of them, saying it looks like a parade of ghosts. His older sister then recognizes the men and says angrily that it's the same group they saw earlier. The explorer's leader is holding the shaman cub and says this is why they caused such a ruckus. Hearing this, our protagonist asks his older sister what they should do now. The girl tells him to wait, guessing that there must be 2 shaman clans there. 2 shamans in red robes appear, sliding down the snowy mountain. The sister then realizes that they need the star pearls from these white shamans. She says this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and they can't afford to waste it. At that moment, she yells out for her friend Xia Yan to spring into action. Xia Yan then leaps out for a surprise attack on one of the shaman monsters. In a coordinated attack, she strikes one of the creatures while our MC uses his blue flash on another. The charge fails, and their friend gets hit by a powerful blow that sends her flying into a tree. She then lets out a scream of pain from the heavy impact she took. Seeing his friend hurt, our boy shouts her name in desperation. Without hesitating, he crushes a red crystal in his hand to activate one of his skills. He then uses his blessing and a reddish energy flies toward his injured partner. The girl turns bright red and lets out a weird little sound as she receives the healing magic. His friend, with her face all flushed and a look of pure bliss, says that the feeling is incredible. But one of the monsters takes advantage of her distraction to charge straight for the girl. Even so, she doesn't seem to care and, with an excited smile, invites the creature to a fight. Then the young woman charges forward with her flaming sword, creating a trail of fire in the snow. Our MC is shocked and says she's gone nuts, but his sister complains that she's just wasting power. With an awkward smile, he thinks that maybe his blessing was a little too good for her. His sister then says that having a healer on the team has made her overconfident and reckless. Because of that, she says they can't count on their friend, and that she'll lure the ghost shaman to them. The older sister asks our MC to watch her back while they get ready. Just then, one of the white creatures roars and charges furiously toward our boy. The beast gets right up in his face with its sharp teeth, using a taunt skill. He's now face to face with the monster but keeps his cool and braces for the blow. And with a swift move, he shoves his blade into the creature's head with all his might. Right after, he stands over the defeated monster as his eyes glow. A system notification pops up, informing him that he's gained an extra skill point. The protagonist wonders how he's still getting rewards, even when his teammates are the ones doing the takedowns. Meanwhile, his friend, still shivering from the cold, asks him to use the blessing again to warm her up. but he yells that he's not a vending machine and his star power is almost empty. At that moment, one of the shaman creatures uses a skill to increase its speed. With that, the white monster starts to flee at high speed down the snowy mountain. Seeing the creature getting away, our young man yells desperately for them to stop it. His friend with the flaming sword says, there's no way they're getting away from her. When she tries to run, she ends up tripping on a rock in her path. She face plants in the snow, leaving our MC completely stunned. The older sister complains that she barely missed hitting the monster with her wild wind. The shaman keeps running, getting faster and farther away from the group. So our MC starts to think of a way to slow the creatures down. He remembers his older sister saying that his blessing was different from others. Healing the skill also made people feel incredibly comfortable. He then gets an idea, remembering the weird reaction his friend had when she was healed. With a confident smirk, he thinks that if that's the case, he can totally take advantage of the situation. And so he decides to use his blessing in a whole new way and launches it at the creature. The monster is hit by the pink energy and gets a surprised look on its face. Then the beast starts making a weird face and turns all red with little hearts floating around it. The other shaman is completely confused, not understanding its partner's reaction at all. At that moment, the older sister seizes the opening and prepares to attack. Power hits both monsters with a devastating blue and red energy. After the attack, the girl stands there, watching everything with a victorious look in her eyes. Now, the white creatures have calmed down and are just standing still around the group. Their friend, sitting in the snow, sighs in relief and says that was a close one. She then praises the protagonist for being clever and using his blessing like a poison. But the older sister gives her friend a smack on the head for being so reckless. The young woman then apologizes with her hands on her head, promising she won't do it again. Soon after, the sister goes to check the body of the explorer who was left behind. She then confirms that the man he's gone for good, as our MC watches the scene. The protagonist's friend shows off a blue star pearl and says they got lucky because both shamans had one. Then our hero braces himself and asks if the guy is really gone because he's going to grab the item. His sister explains that she needs to get the pearl out of his brain or the monsters will take it. Our MC is shocked, thinking that the girls are treating this like they're just going out for ice cream. The older sister then calls for him to get a move on, because the other white ghosts will be back. But as they walk through the snow, they find the bodies of the entire explorer squad. The cold sweat on his face, our MC realizes that every single member of that group was wiped out. Then, the trio comes across the body of that explorer team's captain. At that, he feels sick to his stomach and covers his mouth to keep from throwing up at the terrible sight. The older sister says they brought this on themselves because the shaman cub had a mark on it. Because of that, no matter where they ran, they would have been hunted by the white monsters. She continues, saying that if they had just abandoned the cub, they might have survived. Their friend then complains that they had very few star pearls and asks if they didn't save any. The sister explains that they probably used them all up while running from the white ghosts. Just then, Xiaoyan looks at our MC and asks him to take a look at a human pearl. His sister then asks if he isn't scared, since that pearl came from a human. But our MC says it's no different from a monster's, and that the only difference is that you can't absorb it. Suddenly, a system notification appears right in front of our boy's eye. The screen then says it's detecting something as his eye reflects the purple pearl. This leaves him stunned, because they had told him it was impossible to absorb human pearls. The pearl in his hand begins to glow intensely with a powerful, purple energy. A system screen shows a huge list of skills that he can fuse and absorb. With a smile, he thinks that 2 of the combined techniques would be perfect for him. He then turns to the girls, and his sister looks worried about what he's going to say. He then says that he can feel the medical skills in the pearl, and that he might be able to absorb them. Lishan leaves both girls completely shocked and speechless. His sister asks in disbelief if he can really extract techniques from a human pearl. Xiaoyan, also amazed, asks if he only felt the healing skills or the other ones too. But he decides to keep his secret and says he's just more sensitive to medical techniques. He then says that they're a team, and because of that, the pearl should go to Xiaoyan. With a smile, Xiaoyan tells him to just absorb it already, and that if it works, she'll have a great ally. So without wasting any time, he crushes the purple item in his hand, releasing all its energy. With that, a massive explosion of purple power erupts from our young man's body. His eyes glow intensely as he absorbs all the power from the star pearl. The girls watch the scene, totally surprised by the amount of power being released. Xiaoyan is stunned when she realizes he successfully got another dual skill. Back at home, the older sister is putting away the jacket she was wearing. Our MC looks at a picture of their family in a frame on the wall. Soon after, she's looking at another portrait. With a serene look, she tells her parents in the photo that they've finally come home. Holding the picture, she says that our MC has matured and has an incredible and rare talent. He then interrupts the moment and says he's going to his room to unpack his stuff and take a shower. His sister watches him go to his room while she continues to hold the picture frame. Her eyes then fill with an expression of sadness. Looking at the photo, she says that he's destined to be an amazing awakened, just like they were. Outside the room, the sister wonders if she can really protect him. Meanwhile, our hero enters his room and is shocked by the scene. The place is a total disaster, with clothes and leftover food everywhere. He then pinches his nose in disgust as he picks up a super stinky sock from the floor. With that, he gets to work and throws a bunch of trash into a black bag. 3 hours later, his computer desk is now sparkling clean. Even the bookshelf and the empty picture frame are tidy. With a smile on his face, the guy throws himself onto the bed, exhausted but satisfied. But he sits up, remembering he needs to deal with the previous owner's cringy past. At that, our boy hits the power button on his computer to sort it out. On the computer, he finds a video where the previous owner was introducing himself. The guy in the video was bragging, saying he had become an awakened and the future god of this world. Our hero gets some serious secondhand embarrassment hearing the guy say he was literally found in the trash. Then he compliments his mother's name, saying that at least hers was decent. With a blush, he finds out his name came from the family dog that had passed away. Suddenly, someone knocks on his bedroom door, and it startles him. Our young man then turns around, startled by the sudden knock. It was his older sister, standing there in the doorway, wearing pink pajamas. She calls him to come have dinner with her. But the girl is in shock when she sees her brother's room. She asks if he was the one who cleaned it, and he gives her a proud thumbs up. On the kitchen table, a delicious and well-prepared dinner awaits them. With sparkling eyes, he gets excited because he had only been eating instant noodles before this. As she serves the rice, she lets him know that Xia Yan will pick him up tomorrow. The sister explains that it will be 5 days of special training before the military training. Our boy then asks why he can't just train with them, since that would be more effective. But she says he needs to go and stand out so he can get into their squad. The protagonist is completely surprised by this new condition. She then tells him to eat and says that her friend will explain the rest. And before leaving, she reminds him to delete his embarrassing posts, and he gets flustered. During dinner, he serves his older sister some meat. With a huge smile, he thinks about how good it is to have a real family and a real home. After finishing everything, he picks up the stack of dirty dishes to wash them. Our MC then tells his sister to go rest because he'll do the dishes. The girl watches him with a surprised but happy look. We see him at the sink, diligently washing all the dinner dishes. Our hero seems pretty happy as he hums and finishes cleaning up the kitchen. After finishing the job, he hangs up the dish towel, totally satisfied. But then his gaze lands on something in the kitchen that catches his eye. He walks over to the fridge and sees a few family photos stuck to it. He then stands there looking at the old photos with a curious expression. With a smile, he notices a picture of his younger sister and thinks she's really cute. He also comments that his parents seemed like really cool and stylish people. At that, he remembers that the body's previous owner's parents disappeared in another world. Suddenly, someone comes up from behind him and surprises him. Xia Yan appears, all excited, and hugs our hero, saying she's here to take him. As they walk away, our MC complains for the girl to stop being so close to him. He keeps grumbling that she's only a little bit older as they arrive at a door. Inside the apartment, a mysterious man in a trench coat is watching the street from the window. He then peeks through the curtain with a very suspicious look. It turns out he was watching the protagonist and his friend as they were leaving. They then arrive at a super modern building that seems to be Xia Yan's house. The girl then presses a button to ring the doorbell. She strikes a pose, all excited and full of energy. Soon, a muscular man wearing boxing gloves appears and greets her. The friend then introduces the man as our hero's new trainer. She explains that after 5 days of training, he needs to go to the school and get selected. The goal is for him to stand out among the other students to get into their team. Xia Yan says the most important thing is to show his worth to get the leader's attention. To finish things off, she takes his cell phone and tells him it will be confiscated during the training. With a smile, his friend informs him that his meals will be delivered and that she's going to get some rest. Meanwhile, the young woman takes the opportunity to have a relaxing bath. Getting out of the bath, she wraps herself in a white towel, looking very refreshed. She then dries her hair with the towel, still with a happy expression on her face. Leaves the bathroom, she notices our MC's phone that was put away there. With that, a rather mischievous idea pops into her head. With a very sly smile, she starts humming to herself as she thinks about what she's going to do. Meanwhile, the hero's friend is at the gym, training hard and laying into a punching bag. She lands a powerful hit on the bag, showing off her dedication. The girl just doesn't let up. A little while later, she stops training and starts taking off her gloves. Wiping away the sweat, she figures the MC must be training hard too. But his training is a little different, featuring a nutritious meal cooked by Xian. He eats with a look of disgust, thinking he's practically risking his life just to make the team. Just then, a muscular man watches him from a distance. The trainer thinks about how the kid wakes up at 4 in the morning and trains his tail off until 9 at night. And without any slack, he always crushes his daily tasks, giving it his absolute all. The instructor thinks anyone else would go nuts with this kind of intense training. He's never seen a kid this tough. We see the luxurious home of Shine's family. Inside, the girl's father looks completely floored by the news he just got. His wife asks him why he's so worked up. Her father reveals that the girl brought a boy home with her 4 days ago. The mother gets all excited, asking if her daughter is in love. He then says she already knows him and reveals it's the MC from the Han family. Hearing the young man's name, the woman is in total shock. She starts yelling that she's against this relationship, and her husband says he doesn't agree with it either. Cheyenne's father then shows her his phone so she can see the situation with her own eyes. On the screen, there's a super cringy post from the boy, gushing about their daughter every single day. We cut back to the gym, where you can hear the sounds of fists meeting flesh. Our boy is in the middle of a session. He's landing a flurry of blows on the instructor. The muscular man tells the kid to be faster. Our boy decides to put more power into his next strike. He throws a powerful punch at the instructor, who has his guard up. Even blocking the hit, he feels the impact, which sends him sliding back. After the impact, he sizes up our boy. The trainer is impressed with the punch and praises him, saying he did great. The protagonist then grins, satisfied with his performance. They stare each other down. Our boy thinks to himself that he finally managed to get past the trainer's defense without using his powers. The man then grabs the boy and tells him he needs to keep that drive to succeed. Just then, the housekeeper shows up, interrupting the training. She was with a man in a suit who was peeking from behind the wall. This man is Shine's father, who is glaring at the protagonist with a serious look. The boy recognizes the guy instantly. Now we see what happened 10 minutes earlier, with the woman going to answer the door. Opened it, she came face to face with the girl's father. He then asks where his daughter is. The housekeeper says she's fine. The man is relieved to hear his daughter is okay and asks if anything has changed. The housekeeper gets a bit nervous when he asks if anything's different. She reveals that the young man arrived 4 days ago. Shine's father starts to panic after the old woman reveals something to him. He can't believe his daughter locked his friend's son in the basement of their house. The housekeeper says that Xian hired a personal trainer for the boy. Hearing about the training, the girl's father gets even more confused. The housekeeper then invites the man to come downstairs and see it with his own eyes. He agrees to go down and check out the situation. And when he gets there, he's surprised to see that the boy really is training. The protagonist turns around and recognizes Shine's father. The man says he's happy the boy still remembers him after 10 years. With an awkward smile, the boy says he doesn't need to worry. He thinks that with the original owner's personality, he's lucky he wasn't kicked out on the spot. The muscular man gets excited and says the sunset is perfect for a barbecue. He then tells the housekeeper that he's heading out to eat. The protagonist's eyes light up at the word, barbecue. The boy gets all hyped up and starts repeating that he wants barbecue too. And so, they get ready to go out and grab some delicious kebabs. Our boy eats the kebabs with gusto, saying the food is amazing. Meanwhile, Shine's father watches the young man with an attentive gaze. The man says he's happy with the boy's change and that his parents would be proud. Our young man thinks about the original owner's parents, who have been missing for years. He then asks if people who disappear into other dimensions can ever come back. The girl's father replies that nobody knows, as the portals are still a mystery. He reveals that the Pioneer Legion, where the boy's parents were, explores these dimensions. And with that, we see the group of explorers who are the protagonist's parents and their team. In this world, new dimensional portals appear right in the middle of cities. To investigate these places, an organization called the Pioneer Legion was created. They are always the first ones to enter the portals to assess the dangers of the new location. Their mission is to see if the materials and creatures there can help humanity. They also need to check if the monsters are too dangerous or if the place is impossible to live in. And based on that, they decide if the new world can be explored or if it needs to be destroyed. Pioneers make huge sacrifices so that others can use these portals. He then reveals that this legion is the most dangerous team, and the boy's parents were part of it. With this, he hopes the boy will work harder in the future to honor his parents. Our young man then asks which dimension his parents disappeared into. Shine's father is a bit taken aback by the direct question. He says the boy can't go there now, but he can reveal the name of the place. And the name of this dangerous place is the Dragon's Nest. The man says he needs to get stronger to one day go there and get some answers for his parents. Fist, our boy shows that he's determined to do exactly that. Our boy repeats the name of the place where his parents vanished to himself. Seeing the boy's reaction, the man becomes thoughtful. To change the subject, he asks when the young man is going back to school, and he replies that Xian will take him. The older man then says that his daughter is being very strict with the training. Our boy immediately defends her, saying he was the one who asked for a tougher workout. The man is surprised because he barely mentioned his daughter, and the boy already jumped to her defense. He gets the completely wrong idea and says the young man should focus on his studies before thinking about dating. Our protagonist is totally confused, not getting what the older man means by that. Our boy asks what kind of romance he's even talking about. The man gets annoyed and accuses him of posting on a blog about his love for Xian for 4 days straight. And with a smile on his face, our boy admits that he is, in fact, the love-struck blogger. However, he quickly reveals that the girl confiscated his phone on the very first day of training. And so, we arrive at the 5th day of our protagonist's training. Sitting in a lotus position, he activates his Starlight Power Boost skill. The system announces that he's at level 4, and that every 5 levels there's a power bottleneck. The trainer says the plan is complete, and that he needs to head to his next client, so he says his goodbyes. Suddenly, the protagonist turns around, surprised, and shouts a woman's name. Just then, a young woman with purple hair and a blue coat appears in front of him. The young man asks if she's already back from the snowfield, and the woman confirms she is. With that, she tosses a bag at him, and he quickly asks what's inside. The woman reveals that they are white phantom starlight beads. Aryun opens the bag, totally excited. He's shocked and wonders if she defeated every single phantom in the snowfield. The woman asks if that's not enough and says she can get more if he needs them. Our boy is speechless and blushing completely at her kindness. Our hero then realizes the truth behind his friend's actions. He understands that she went to the snowfield just to get the starlight beads for him. At this, the boy gets super emotional over her kindness. Without a second thought, he gives her a big hug, catching her by surprise. With a smile on his face, he thanks her for everything she's done for him. She then gives him a little pat on the back, accepting his thanks. The woman then says he's a silly boy and that he never needs to thank her. She hugs him back, making the moment even sweeter. But with a serious look, she asks him to explain the blog posts. She shows him her phone with several photos of him and Xian together. Seeing that, our protagonist starts breaking out in a cold sweat. He yells that the photos are fake and that he wasn't the one who posted them. The boy accuses Xian of making the posts to stir up trouble between them. His friend then sighs and says she figured as much. She then tells him to use the beads to see if he can level up. The system shows that his skills are at bronze level 4, needing 6 more points. He remembers that he reached level 4 by taking 2 beads from a fallen hunter and 2 from monsters. So, our young man takes one of the starlight beads from the bag, which glows brightly in his hand. With a determined look, he crushes the starlight bead to absorb all its power. He then absorbs 4 beads at once and uses 2 skill points to level up. The system announces that he's reached level 10 and his skills have ranked up from bronze to silver. Suddenly, Xian asks how his progress is going, but he just glares at her angrily. However, a mischievous grin spreads across his face as he gets an idea for revenge. He then raises his hand and says he's going to use his new blessing skill on her. At that, the girl is enveloped in a faint pink aura. The young woman is completely confused, not understanding what's happening to her body. Suddenly, the woman's mind is transported to a tropical beach with a bright, shining sun. She feels a warm breeze. The girl then notices the different sensation taking over her body. She feels like she's on the beach, enjoying a warm and pleasant breeze. She says that this skill is easing all the fatigue from her body. With a smile on her face, she enjoys the pleasant sensation. Back in reality, the woman hugs herself, saying the power of the blessing is incredible. His other friend scolds him, while our boy says he was just testing out his new skill. Then we see Binching High School. Inside the car, his friend warns him that there are regular students at the school and that he shouldn't get into any fights. Xian then teases her friend, saying she's become more talkative since the boy matured. She then waves to our boy from the car. The young women say their goodbyes and tell him they'll be waiting for him up ahead. Our protagonist then walks toward the school building. Pulling his suitcase, he reflects on how he fought to survive in the snow. He complains that he's been out of school for years.
Thanks for watching. I'm going to see you next video.